回到IDA看世界 Welcome back to IDA See the World. St. Lucia initially established diplomatic relations with the Republic of China, Taiwan, from 1984 to 1997, before switching recognition to the People's Republic of China. In 2007, St. Lucia reestablished its ties with Taiwan, demonstrating how indispensable Taiwan's aid is to its allies.
And despite China's significant financial resources and diplomatic pressure, Taiwan has shown it can provide more effective support. However, this relationship is not one-sided. St. Lucia continues to back Taiwan on the global stage and collaborates with Taiwan in areas such as agriculture, pandemic prevention, and education.
Through IDA Spacious and the ongoing Taiwan Diplomatic Allies series, we aim to explore St. Lucia's unique bond with Taiwan and shed light on its significance. We are honored to welcome today's distinguished guest, the Ambassador of St. Lucia to the Republic of China, Robert Louis.
Thank you very much for inviting me to this very wonderful program. And let me just say welcome to all your guests on television and in other formats that whoever is listening, wherever, and even to St. Lucians who are also listening through different platforms.
Since 2007, the Republic of China and St. Lucia have maintained 17 years of diplomatic relations. However, many Taiwanese may not be fully acquainted with what St. Lucia is renowned for. So, Ambassador Louis, could you introduce St. Lucia to our audience?
Well, thank you very much again. St. Lucia is a very small island in the Eastern Caribbean. So there is an archipelago that you'll call maybe the Eastern Caribbean, and St. Lucia finds itself almost in the center of that archipelago. It's about 238 square miles, approximately 600 square kilometers. And St. Lucia has a population of about 180,000 people. St. Lucia is a parliamentary democracy. Its head of state, since it's a realm of the British Commonwealth, its head of state is King Charles. And St. Lucia has a Governor General, and St. Lucia has essentially two major political parties that really contest general elections every 5 years. Well, St. Lucia is predominantly of African descent, people of African descent, but of course you have people of Indian, of indigenous persons of the Caribbean, like of the Arawaks and other groups in St. Lucia. So it's a very young, thriving democracy. Its main language is English, but we speak a French Creole called Patois.
Ambassador, just like you mentioned, although St. Lucia has a population of approximately 180,000, it is home to two Nobel Prize laureates, Sir William Arthur Lewis, who won the Nobel Memorial Prize in Economic Sciences in 1979, and Sir Derek Walcott, who was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1992. Could you provide more insights on these distinguished individuals for our Taiwanese audience?
Right, so Sir Arthur Lewis, of course, having grown up in St. Lucia, both he and Derek Walcott, they both went to a high school, which I went to also, St. Mary's College, an all-boys school. Right now it houses about 600 young boys. I taught there also as vice principal of that school. But for these gentlemen, Sir Arthur Lewis is the first black professor in the United Kingdom. He studied at London School of Economics, and then he also became a professor at University of Manchester. And his work at Princeton also, and in many fields, in looking at economic development, industrial development, he was awarded the Nobel Prize the very same year that St. Lucia became an independent country in 1979. Of course, some 13 years later, Honorable Derek Walcott won the Nobel Laureate Prize in Literature, and that's 1992. It's interesting for you to note that both gentlemen are born on January 30th. So, and they're born 15 years apart. So it's interesting that both Nobel laureates have the same birthday. And every year, St. Lucia has a recognition for these two gentlemen by what we call, we're looking at the year excellent, month of excellence, and that runs throughout the month of January.
And additionally, during the 2024 Paris Olympics, St. Lucian athlete Julian Alfred was recognized as one of the 2 Caribbean athletes to win a gold medal. Ambassador, what significance does this achievement hold for St. Lucians, and how is her success perceived in St. Lucia?
Well, you will understand that a small island country like St. Lucia, this is the first Olympic medal that St. Lucia has ever won. In fact, she won 2 medals, the gold in the 100 meters and silver in the 200. Very interesting for somebody, Julian Alfred. Julian Alfred is from an area called Cicero, Monkey Tongue, Cicero. It's my hometown also. And very interesting to show you how small this country is. Julian Alfred was taught by my wife in kindergarten. So in 2006, she entered the kindergarten at the Cicero Combined School. And there, my wife was a teacher in the first year of kindergarten. But of course, I know all the people who teach there. I went to school there. I taught there also for 3 years. So it's a very nice community, but St. Lucia has very much been excelled or brought up even more international acclaim with Julian Alfred's feat in the Olympics in Paris 2024.
After a decade of broken diplomatic ties, St. Lucia and Taiwan agreed to re-establish diplomatic relations. Ambassador Luis, could you elaborate on the reasons behind St. Lucia's decision to renew these diplomatic ties? Additionally, how do you perceive Taiwan's contribution to St. Lucia, particularly in Taiwanese assistance projects?
Right, so your question is a lot of information, but I will try to process it to the best of my ability. Yes, in 2007, a new administration came in, and a former prime minister, along with some of his ministers, they agreed that we probably need to go back to Taiwan, because from 1984 to 1997, 13 years of diplomatic relations with Taiwan, St. Lucia had seen how Taiwan, as a small country, was making a lot of a big impact on St. Lucia. And so the government thought it was best to go back to re-establishing diplomatic relations with Taiwan. Incidentally, I was in Parliament during that time. I had just become a member of Parliament in 2006. So, and I supported the idea, even if people, there were lots of misunderstanding, but St. Lucia thought, as small countries who share similar traits, it was very important for Taiwan. And we have not regretted that decision to go back, because if you look, Taiwan has had a tremendous impact on St. Lucia in almost every sector of our economy. Taiwan is one of our biggest development partners. And in fact, Taiwan is our biggest grant providing country at the moment. And of course, I know you'll ask me about education. And if you think about it, Taiwan at the moment is the country that provides the most scholarships for our young people in any part of the world. So St. Lucia has benefited tremendously from its relations with Taiwan, whether in agriculture, in education, in healthcare, in gender affairs, especially empowering women. And one of the issues you realize, empowering women is a very big issue, and Taiwan is working very hard in assisting us with issues. And also I need to say, if you take all of the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, Taiwan has assisted very much in ensuring that we are meeting our own desires in these areas.
And Ambassador, could you please elaborate on St. Lucia's role and participation in regional cooperation within the Caribbean? And how does St. Lucia engage with regional organizations and supports its international partners like Taiwan in these forums?
Right. Now, but the biggest organizations that St. Lucia interacts with in its region is called CARICOM. CARICOM is the Caribbean Common Market. So most of the trade, of a lot of trade will happen between these member states. And CARICOM is moving directly to having free movement of labor in the different countries like Jamaica. So yes, we do. And in CARICOM, St. Kitts and Nevis, Belize, which is a member of CARICOM, I almost forgot. Haiti, a member of CARICOM also. St. Lucia and St. Kitts, I think I've said it already. These 5 countries, we have, each of them has diplomatic relations with Taiwan. So we recognize this Taiwan's right to self-determination. And therefore, as we go every year, let's say to the UNGA, which is the United Nations General Assembly, we will keep pushing for Taiwan to be recognized in various fora. For example, in the World Health Association, World Health Assembly, sorry, in the World Health Organization, and in many areas. And you can understand why it's important to get Taiwan to be part of these associations. Especially, let's take the World Health Assembly. Taiwan was one of those countries that really handled the COVID pandemic very well. And therefore, it's important for Taiwan's perspective to be heard on the world platform, because Taiwan is a leader in healthcare, technology, and so on. So it's very important that we know that Taiwan has a mantra or motto that says, Taiwan can help, and Taiwan does help. It does lead with soft diplomacy. Yes.
And Taiwan really need St. Lucia's support.
Yes, they need our support, and we need their support. So it's a by, well, not just by, I was looking for the word which is saying that symbiotic relationship, that in a world, there's something that says no man is an island, so you need partners as you develop. And Taiwan is one of those partners that we need in our developmental thrust. Yes.
Let's concentrate on the education issue. Similar to Taiwan's efforts to promote indigenous languages among youth, St. Lucia has recently intensified its promotion of Creole. In September, the St. Lucian government introduced Creole into the curriculum of 15 schools as part of its educational initiatives. Additionally, St. Lucia actively preserved its cultural heritage through Mo'e Creole, celebrated in October. Ambassador, we understand that you are fluent in Creole. Could you kindly explain what Creole is, and why did St. Lucia introduce it into the curriculum, and what is Mo'e Creole and its objectives?
I must say that's very good that you're going really into St. Lucian culture. If you think about the development of Creole, Creole is really a language that is predominantly French-based. But of course, it borrows words from other countries, maybe African, Spanish. Of course, there are English words being used, but they're not Creole. But the point is, in Haiti in particular, you saw the development of a language for the people who were brought to the Caribbean, who were brought to the Caribbean during slavery. And Creole is one of these languages that came out. And if you look now, Haiti speaks Creole, Martinique, Guadeloupe, St. Lucia, Dominica, Seychelles, all these countries, and Mauritius, all these countries speak Creole. So Creole is a part of our culture. It's a very important. When I grew up in St. Lucia in the 1960s, my grandmother could not speak English. So clearly, it was important for those of us who could speak English, who had to be mediator between them and a doctor, for example, when they went to the health center or to the hospital. And therefore, Creole is a very important medium of communication among St. Lucians, especially elder people. But it was dying out because sometimes governments think that for development, they need to stifle languages. But Creole has become a very important part of our culture, so much so the government allows Creole to be spoken in the Parliament of St. Lucia. And it's kudos to the government of St. Lucia that we eventually, after over 30 years of saying it, we've now come to begin teaching Creole in our schools. Yes, I am fluent. If there was somebody in here who could speak some Creole, I would have engaged in Creole with them because Creole is a very good language. In fact, when I first got here to Taiwan, the ambassador of Haiti and I spoke Creole very often. So it is important to our history as a people. And there are times you still have people who are not as fluent in English, and they will need to converse in Creole to understand some of the issues. But it's also important for our younger generation to understand the role of Creole in our development. And so every year, in the month of October, Heritage Creole is what you're referring to. And even here in Taiwan, we as an embassy and the St. Lucian community in Taiwan, we recognize that month for Jeune Creole in particular. And this year, I'll invite you to Jeune Creole in Changhua, Sunday, October 27. We will have all St. Lucians and some of their friends will be meeting in Changhua for a day of celebration where we have St. Lucian food and other activities. And most of what we'll do, we'll try very much to keep it in Creole. In that way, we will be continuing to enhance the development of our culture and the Creole language. St. Lucia has certain things that can only be explained with regard to the Creole language. And therefore, we think it's very important for us to foster cultural identity, because cultural identity is important. And that's why I think it's very important, like you're talking about indigenous people in Taiwan. And I enjoy listening to, because that's how you get to know how the people, how that country was formed, when you can look at its cultural identity.
Thank you.
And Ambassador, as we know that Taiwan is the leading provider of educational scholarships to St. Lucia, and with Your Excellency previously noting that anyone who helps educate the people of St. Lucia is a friend of St. Lucia. Ambassador Louis, could you please elaborate on how Taiwan has collaborated to increase educational opportunities for St. Lucians, and how our two countries might further expand cooperation in this area?
Yes, this little passage you quoted about me saying anybody who has helped us. Yes, I think I said that to President Tai Ing-wen when I was introduced, or I was presenting my credentials. I believe in it as a teacher, trained teacher, former Minister for Education of St. Lucia. Education is what will build our young country, St. Lucia. And our people are very resilient people. Our people are voracious for educational opportunities. Every year, more than 150 young St. Lucians apply for the Taiwanese scholarship, but just about 30 get the scholarships. So that tells you 5 times as many who get the scholarships apply, which means St. Lucians want to further their education. They want to make the country to become internationalized. And one of the things that we see for our development is that our best resource is our people, because we don't have many natural resources, but St. Lucians are the ones who are our best resource. And therefore, if we educate St. Lucians, if we educate them, we expect that they will push the country forward. So yes, Taiwan is assisting. Taiwan has provided approximately 331 scholarships between 2007 and 2024. And we are very grateful to the government and people of Taiwan in helping make educational opportunities a reality for our people. And as I said, the government of St. Lucia has a policy. This present government under Philip J. Pierre, Prime Minister, he wants 1 graduate per household. And we are pushing for it because Taiwan is assisting us to do exactly that.
Thank you, Ambassador.
Tourism is vital to St. Lucia's economy, contributing about 60% of its GDP. The country is renowned for attractions like the Twin Pitons in Soufriere, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, Morongimi hiking trails, and beautiful beaches. However, climate change is increasingly affecting the tourism sector. How has climate change impacted St. Lucia's tourism, and how can Taiwan and St. Lucia collaborate to address this challenge?
Right. So until about 1992, the chief agricultural export of St. Lucia was bananas. But once we lost our protective market on the British market, then we realized that we need to diversify our economy, and tourism has become one of the biggest revenue generation sector for us. So about 60% of our GDP is from tourism. And St. Lucia is a beautiful country. It's probably one of the most picturesque countries in the world. And I will invite you to visit St. Lucia if you want to prove it for yourself. Of course, we have these majestic twin pitons that have become World Heritage Sites called the pitons. And it means that the UNESCO has identified it not just as a St. Lucian landmark, but a landmark that the whole world should share. And therefore, we want to keep this very pristine area for the people of the world. And we are excited about St. Lucia as a tourist destination. We get many accolades for honeymoon destination in a lot of tourism-related fields. But in light of that, and you mentioned climate change, of course, we are small island developing states. That's what they call the SEEDs. Taiwan works with St. Lucia in trying to ensure that we can meet some of the demands and start to have precautions so as we look at climate action. While we may not be the ones who are creating all the problems in carbon emissions in the world, but we suffer. And just like Taiwan, while you call it typhoons, every year St. Lucia between June and November, June 1st to November 30th, is what we call the hurricane season. And you can see the devastation that hurricanes cause every year in that part of the world. In fact, just so we realize that it is our responsibility to work with like-minded partners like Taiwan to assist us. And we hope the world is listening, because each country is very important, because the lives of especially indigenous people and persons who are not able to get away from making use of resources of the sea, that's very important to the government.
It's very touching.
Yes.
Thank you.
Ambassador, since your appointment as ambassador to the Republic of China, Taiwan in 2022, could you kindly share how you have strengthened cooperation between our two nations and your experiences serving in Taiwan, including your interactions with the Taiwanese public?
Right. So diplomatic relations mean that we want to not just trade relations, because there's very little for St. Lucia to trade with Taiwan in terms of goods. We do get certain things out of Taiwan. But cultural diplomacy is very important. What we're doing now, and we can do, is, for example, get to know a lot about the Taiwanese people. So I've spent a lot of time going to schools as a teacher. I spent a lot of time being invited to schools, speaking to school children, and I think that's very good. Diplomacy through education, as I call it, is a very important aspect of my work here. So the role of the embassy is not just to sit here in Taipei, but it is to go out into various places. And anybody who invites me as an ambassador, especially to speak, because as a teacher, I appreciate education. I think I will continue to do that, and I will look forward to any invitations to speak at schools, to speak at clubs, to speak at whatever function we have. Taiwan, most times the Taiwanese population would more be listening to what happened in the United States, what's happening in Southeast Asia. But we hope even with your program, and I really want to commend you with this program, that you're bringing out allies of Taiwan to the general Taiwanese population. And I think again, I want to commend you very much on such a series, because I think this is how more Taiwanese are going to find out about their friends in St. Lucia. And if I may say, we would also like, for example, a program like yours, you could actually go to St. Lucia and maybe do a few programs where you meet people in St. Lucia and you come back and introduce to the Taiwanese population.
Yes, we would definitely want to do that, and we hope to visit St. Lucia one day in the future.
Today, September 18th, is the birthday of the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Philip J. Pierre. So happy birthday, Prime Minister, and I hope that you enjoy birthday 2024.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Luis, for accepting today's interview.
Thank you, Ambassador. And let's take a short break. And for more stories from See the World, please stay tuned.